I'm ready when you are, Jim.
All right, good. Take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm Dean Berardo. Welcome to a first for the Brewster High School Athletic Department, a Zoom Awards Night for Fall 2020. Before I spend a few minutes talking about the season, I'd like to introduce a few people and welcome them. And we're going to start out with our Board of Education. We do have many of our wonderful Board of Education members present this evening, and I'll recognize them all. I'd like to recognize Ms. Sonia Masika, who's our President of the Board of Education, Ms. Carrie Cunningham, our Vice President of the Board of Education, Mr. Eric Glutzner, a Trustee of the Board of Education, Ms. Daisy Jimenez Vasquez, Trustee of the Brewster Board of Education, Ms. Francine Santos, Trustee of the Brewster Board of Education, Mr. Scott Seaman, a Trustee of the Brewster Board of Education, and Mr. Jason Whitehead, a Trustee of the Brewster Board of Education. Thank you all. And I'd like to invite Ms. Carrie Cunningham, the Vice President of the Board of Education, to say a few words at this time.
Thanks, Mr. Berardo. I just wanted to say on behalf of the school board that we'd like to congratulate all of the student athletes for this fall season. We know this season was not exactly what you had planned, especially for the seniors and their families. But it made all of us really proud to see all of our Brewster athletes rise to the occasion and complete this season with your masks and all. So I also want to say a huge thanks to all of the coaches and Dean Berardo and his staff and all of the parents, because it was really no small feat getting this fall season off the ground. And it took everybody contributing to make it happen for the kids. So we look forward to seeing the kids on the field and on the court in the winter and the spring. And we just want to congratulate all of you and thanks for a great season.
Thank you very much, Carrie. And in my nerves, I forgot to recognize our varsity club co-presidents this year. Now they would be Nicoletta Goldberg and Gabriella Jacobson. And if we could just say the Pledge of Allegiance, we're a little out of order, but if they could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Trelaw, that'd be great.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. We appreciate it. I'm sorry I was a little out of order there. Moving on to some more honored guests this evening, I'd like to introduce our Central Office District Office Administration, Dr. Lori Banlow, our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Michelle Gosch, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Brent Harrington, our Director of Human Resources, Ms. Nicole Horler, who is our Principal at Brewster High School, Ms. Lauren Cole, who is an Assistant Principal at Brewster High School, and Mr. Carlos Rodriguez, Assistant Principal at Brewster High School. And at this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Lori Banlow, our Superintendent of Schools, to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Mr. Berardo. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brewster High School Fall Sports Award Night. This evening, we are honoring our outstanding athletes who truly exemplify everything a Brewster Bear stands for. A big shout out to our Brewster High School administration, Athletic Director, Mr. Dean Berardo, each of our incredible coaches, and our parents. You all have worked tirelessly to make the season happen during a global pandemic. Each of you deserve a round of applause. So everybody give them a nice silent round of applause. Thank you. Woo. All right. It is my honor to be able to be here before you as the Brewster Central School District Superintendent of School in this great school district where tradition, pride, and school spirit continue to ring true in every corridor of every school building and throughout the entire town, and especially in the Bear Den. Each of our honorees this evening continue to bring so much joy, pride, and Brewster Bear spirit to this great town. We are also very proud of each and every one of you. Remember, this moment, as you move forward in your lives, there will continue to be obstacles and mountains that you'll need to climb. You have all shown incredible strength and resilience during this challenging time. All of us are so very proud of you. Remember, as you move forward in your life, you will never be alone. Your Brewster family will always be here to cheer you on. Because each of you continue to believe in your dreams and have given so much of yourself during this fall season, this evening is our night to honor and give back to you. So enjoy this very special evening in your honor, and go Bears. Thank you, Mr. Berardo.
Thank you, Dr. Van Lowe. Much appreciated. So on behalf of all of the coaches and teams, I'd like to thank the Board of Education, the district office administration, high school administration for their support. It was truly a gigantic proportion project to get us back to school, and to get us on the field was even a greater task. We are truly fortunate to have great groups of people to support us, to work with us, to ask us questions, and cheer us on. Before we have some more remarks and some different things, I'd like to say some thank yous on behalf of all the athletes and coaches. They are in no particular order, but they're all very important. First of all, our transportation department. If you take a 77 passenger bus and put 13 athletes on it, you can imagine the task we had going to an away game. So I'd like to thank Miss Mary Smith, Miss Michelle Mutner, and Lori Panzanella for their leadership, their help, their flexibility, their brainstorming to try to figure out how we can get teams to games safely. And we appreciate their cooperation and flexibility. Our Buildings and Grounds Department, under the direction of Mr. Glenn Fryer, Assistant Director Ken Winch, this season we needed to put up signs, put out desks, put out hand sanitizer at each gate. We had to put out chairs on the turf feet 6 feet apart. Anything we needed from Buildings and Grounds, it was like, we got it, we'll take care of it, we'll work with you. So I really like to thank them, the groundsmen. I mean, we had to make one night we had to make some kind of a contraption to keep the thermometer warm in a concession stand. And it wasn't like, oh my goodness, we can't do it. It's like, what are we going to use to get it done? So I'd like to thank all of them for the outstanding work that they've done this season. Another person who kind of goes a little bit unnoticed, maybe, he's another medical person on our staff. That's Mr. Brett Trico. He's our athletic trainer. Brett came to my house on July 3rd, and we started working on some conditioning programs and some things. We sat socially distanced apart, of course, but he is very into the teams, working with us. We spent hours talking about crazy things such as sanitizing mouthpieces, conditioning plans to get the people back on the field safely. So I truly appreciate his efforts for sure. Another great partner, and I truly mean this, of the athletic department is Mr. Kyle Wood. The varsity club, the kids are in various stages of being allowed to stay in school, being not allowed to stay in school. And Kyle just took, we touched base more so than every other awards night. And he took the bull by the horns as usual. He single-handedly organized the envelopes and did a lot of great things for us. So we'd like to appreciate his thank you. Helen Piltman, who's the secretary for the athletic department, did another great job. I mean, if you talk about adding the family ID registration piece, the daily health screener, and of course, we had some high school students who, may have forgotten on a day or two to do their health screening form if they were remote. So Helen was truly patient in organizing these lists and keeping these lists for the most important record keeping pieces that we had. So I like to thank her. And it goes without saying, the coaches. Coaches are an intense breed of people. They are competitive. They are truly sometimes inflexible. But I couldn't tell you, it was totally the opposite this year. The flexibility piece, it was like, hey, we are just grateful to be on the field with our athletes, with our friends, with our, family away from home. And any kind of obstacle that came in their way, it was not an issue. Hey, we'll get through it, Berardo. We'll figure it out. We'll wear the mask. We'll take a mask break. We'll wash our hands. We'll put cones out being 6 feet apart. We'll start the game at 6:30, even though I live an hour away, that kind of thing. So it was really a truly great pleasure of mine to work with such fantastic people. And so some general comments shifting gears. The fall 2020 athletic season was like any other that I have ever experienced. The uncertainty of whether we were going to be allowed to start the season, the requirements that we needed to follow once the season was approved, the preparation of facilities, the cleaning we needed to do daily, the new routines that we had to get used to were all a bit chaotic and unnerving. They were just hard to adjust to. But I commend all of our educational community, athletes, and families for working hard to get the job done. To our families, our stakeholders, I appreciate your flexibility with transporting your athlete to practices and games. Completing the daily health screener, which I know it sometimes was a cumbersome task. It could have been online or on paper. It was always completed. Taking your temperature when you came onto campus was another thing that people, I understand, let's get it done, Mr. Berardo. While we all may have been frustrated at times, we all understood what we needed to do to get on the field and get things done for the day. To our athletes, I am grateful that you had the opportunity to get on the fields, the courts, or the trails to compete and participate in the activities that you enjoy. Your flexibility with taking your temperature, cleaning your hands and equipment, wearing a face covering to participate was new and challenging. Yet you all adjusted very well and you went about your business of competing. I enjoyed seeing the camaraderie of every team and the fun that you all had when you were together. Now, while we all experienced some difficulties this season, I'm getting a little older, maybe a little sappy, but I wanted to express a few of the personal positives that you, the athletes, gave to me, the old curmudgeon administrator. Checking the temperature of almost every athlete every day gave me the chance to learn all of your names, something that I have probably not done since I've been a teacher. So that was fun. I may have even confused the name of a field hockey player or two. So they know that person knows who she is. I had daily opportunities to use my dad humor, which drives my family at home crazy. And in return, I got a few laughs and some head shakes. So I kind of felt that at home. I had a chance to coach a tennis match, which I never did before. And the neat part about that is I was giving instructions and the ladies were looking at me like, what do you know about tennis? I was like, I was a PE teacher for 23 years. They had no idea I even taught a PE. So that was kind of funny and unique. The boys soccer team, sometimes they do a little professional development and they gave the coach some drills. They named a drill after me this year, which I thought was pretty funny. And then they come out, let's do the Berardo drill. I was like, that was unique and fun. And I even had a few favorite siblings from families to confuse, sometimes on purpose, sometimes because I really did confuse them, and to speak to every day. So I truly enjoyed the interactions with our athletes. I look forward to finding ways to continue to build on these relationships because this is what our educational community is all about. And I really want to thank the athletes. I know that we as an educational community are proud of all of you and your positive representation of the Brewster community. And now kind of, getting out of that little, that dinosaur age, some of my colleagues call me dial-up Berardo on the administrative calls. So we're gonna have a small slideshow, and it was done with the help of Mrs. Beadle, so thanks Mrs. Beadle, but it was also done with the help of Anthony and Julia Berardo, and we'll give Deanna a little credit for hooking up the hard drive and teaching me how to cut and paste, I guess. So without further ado, let's have that little slideshow, Mr. Trelaw, please.
I lost it.
Thank you, Mr. Trelaw. And if anybody wants a copy of that, we can arrange that for you. So a few logistical pieces about tonight. The awards, the certificates, the bars, the pins, the trophies that are behind me, the plaques can be picked up at the athletic office. If you are in school, if you are learning remotely, then just give a call to the athletic office or send an email, and we'll make sure that we can make an arrangement, leave it at the front desk, or meet you in the front of the school. Okay. There's one other little logistical piece. The New York State Public High School Athletic Association has a scholar athlete team, and that's going to be announced on Monday. So when we have the opportunity to get our names, which we do believe that we will have some award winners, we'll announce that via Bears Backpack as well. Okay. At this time, it's the time to meet our junior varsity athletes. Our first coach up this evening is a Brewster graduate who did play field hockey, and that is Miss Carly Corbett.
Hi, thank you. So I first want to start by introducing my athletes. So I had Ellie Cassidy, Morgan Clare, Grace Garrett, Beth Haywood, Ava Katsetos, Megan O'Gorman, Annalise Regano, Sophia Sanchez, Jillian Schaub, and Eliana Thompson. So this year has certainly been unlike any other, but if I had one word to describe my team, it would be resilient. We only had 10 players on our team, and no matter the circumstances, the girls went into each practice and each game ready to give it their all, especially when we would play a man down for a full game with no subs. So my first award is the MVP award. The player receiving this award was an excellent field player, but more importantly, an excellent teammate. She led the team and always put her teammates first. On the field, she was a force to be reckoned with in the midfield, but she could play any position. She was always in the right place at the right time. She was a great leader and a great captain for our team. The MVP award this year goes to Ellie Cassidy. My next award is the Most Improved Award. This player put in the hard work and dedication, and from the start to the end of the season, she was a dominant force that controlled the field. She was another midfielder that could play any position I asked her to, no matter the circumstances. She also had the most goals for our team. She never stopped working on her skills and would never be afraid to try something new. Each practice, she would ask me a question on what skills she could learn next and how she could practice it. The Most Improved Award this year goes to Beth Haywood. Thank you.
Thank you, Carly. Congratulations to our JV field hockey players. Our next team to honor and speak of is our JV boys soccer team, and that coach is Mr. Dominique Correa.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to introduce the boys JV soccer. First, we have Aaron Armisto, Lucas Cabiati, Carter Deneen, Brandon Drew, John Congalvis, captain, Jack Harrison, captain, Nicholas Howell, Eric Jacobson, Daniel McGee, Carmelo Miniello, Kevin Perez, Jeffrey Cruz Perez, Andrew Pfeiffer, or Furfer, sorry, and Rafael Rivadiniero, Anthony Ruggiero, captain, Matthew Ryan, Ergus Shala, Mark Stano, Andrew Velato, Sam Whitney, Logan Wild, and Kellen Wolf. Big squad this year. So as one of our coaches mentioned about, this has been a year like no other. Well, the boys JV started, we kind of We trained very hard through very tough conditions. Since from the very start, since the boys stepped on the field, during practice and game, the boys only had one thing in mind, was trying to compete while trying to stay safe. The season was full of obstacles, but the boys quickly adapted to the circumstances. It was slow at first. As the season went on, we started to find a rhythm. In particular, one game at home against Lakeland High School, we went back and forward till the very last minute, trying to get some positive results. It was one of our best games as far as commitment, team effort, determination, and the score ended 5-4 for Lakeland. But I was kind of satisfied with the team's effort. The boys left it all on the field. Shortly after that, the season kind of ended abruptly, as we all know, because of COVID-19. Too bad the team started to really play well together. I saw some vast improvement in some of the players starting to get really comfortable with their positions. It would have been a different outcome if the season would have lasted a little longer, of course. I know we would have gone winning some games. So I'm really proud of the boys. Even though we didn't have any positive result, we did put some scores on a scoreboard. And now I'd just like to I want to thank all the players for all their effort, dedication, and display, a great effort, dedication. And I want to also thank the parents for the support. And last but not least, Dean Barada for making the season possible during this very trying times. Thank you. And now, the first award goes to most valuable player. He's a captain and a sophomore. He's our starting goalkeeper. His consistent work ethic showed in the net this season. Anthony tallied 45 saves during the course of the short season. He averaged about 7 saves per game. I mean, it would have been worse if he hadn't made those saves per game. He's a dedicated student athlete, always pushing himself to improve his technique both during the practice and as well and on weekends. I admire how quickly he adapted the role of a captain. He was always on hand to assist his coach, as well as pushing his fellow teammates to improve each practicing game. Off the field, Anthony is a very respectful young man. I'm sure he's a proper student also. It's the ideal player coach would like to have on this squad. So for the most valuable player, Anthony Ruggiero, and for our and for the most improved, or I call the coach's award. As soon as this player stepped on the field, it was clear to me that he would play a big integral role in our defensive line. Carter adapted early on the role of a center back. However, his versatility proved helpful as we had him play in several different positions throughout the season. He's a self-disciplined and a great visionary on the field, always cool, calm, and collected under pressure. Carter knows how to get out of a tight situation. He too is a respectful and a true gentleman on the field. However, when it comes to competition and fighting for his team, he is relentless. Carter is a valuable player, and he's going to be a big asset when he goes up to the next level on varsity. And most improved, Carter Deneen. And with that, I want to thank everybody. And thank you, Dean, for letting, for at least, letting us play as many games as possible.
Thank you, Coach. It was a team effort, and we appreciate your efforts this season as well. At this time, usually in the middle of the ceremony, we take a few extra minutes to recognize the All-League and all Northern County, maybe honorable mention selections. Just to let you know, an All-League award winner, especially this year, especially in some of the circumstances that we as a Brewster district have been involved with, the All-League award meetings were they're very difficult. Sometimes it's like the the good old boy network or the good old girl network, where it's not who you know or how good your athlete. It's not how good your athlete is. Sometimes it's what you favors that coaches do for each other. we try hard not to do that, but these backroom door deals, we work hard to go again. So our coaches go in these meetings and they really push and they fight for our kids and they go for, the gusto. So I want to mention these All League folks for each team. And we do have the All League plaques in here. The All League plaque from section 1, we send out your name to a company. They come in, they give us a sticker, so we don't have the sticker just yet or the plate, but we'll get that for you. You put it in when it comes in, or we'll mail it to your house or something. But starting out, our All League tennis team this year for girls tennis, Samantha Ferrara, Anna Peterson, and Danielle Rosner. Congratulations, ladies. For boys cross country, going a little fast for the applause, I'm sorry. Michael Cardona, Bryce DiCarlo, Patrick Ford, and Ryan Neubauer, All League for boys cross country. For All League girls cross country, Michaela Goldberg, Sarah Luby, Macy Marinich, Lila Peterson, Margaret Regano, and Emma Winkler. Congratulations, ladies. For boys soccer, Mateo Gula and Carlos Palma Orellana. For girls soccer, Amanda Sherman. Congratulations to our All League Award winners. Moving up the ladder, we have an all section honorable mention athlete, and that would be for girls soccer. That would be Amanda Sherman. Congratulations, Amanda. And our all Northern County Putnam Dutchess cross country team award winners for boys cross country, Bryce DiCarlo, Patrick Ford, and Ryan Neubauer. Congratulations, gentlemen. And our last award winners, all Northern County, for girls cross country, Sarah Luby and Margaret Regano. And just to mention, field hockey has not had their meeting yet. Some of these meetings, like this one tonight with the Zoom, are taking an extraordinary effort to get off the ground. And so field hockey will have in theirs Monday. So we will take all these names. We will put them on a Bears backpack at some point and announce them. We'll work with our public relations person, Jen Gary, just like we would do for the Scholar Athlete Award, and make sure that our athletes are recognized for their achievements on the field and in the classroom. So congratulations to all those folks. We're going to move on to honor our varsity athletes, and we're going to start out with the boys varsity soccer team. Mr. Jerry Ferreri had a previous medical procedure scheduled today, and he was able to get that done. So he's not able to be with us tonight. So I'm going to speak on behalf of the boys varsity soccer team. Our boys varsity soccer team was much improved this season. The soccer team plays in one of the toughest leagues around, with teams such as Yorktown, Somers, John J. Cross River, Lakeland Panis, Lakeland and Walter Panis. So this team this year was very, very much improved. They played, like I said, in a strong league. The games that they played were intense, competitive, and highly skilled. This team improved tremendously over this year. While we may not have won as many games as we have wished, we went from being really not into games to being very, very, one or two plays away from being successful. Coach Ferreri is very proud of the improvements the team made, is thankful for the hard work that the players put in, and wishes all the seniors well in their future plans. And at this time, on his behalf, I'd like to give out 2 awards. The Most Valuable Player Trophy is awarded to a young man who was a strong leader on and off the field. This player was a major contributor to our defense. And even when he was injured, he was still a huge presence on our sideline and bench. This young man was always full of enthusiasm and put forth a solid effort for the entire year. Congratulations to Justin Sagastume. The next trophy, and it's for most improved, is awarded to a young man who's a very hard worker, plays with a lot of heart and intensity. A confident person, this player is a very strong leader and led the team by example. let's have a congratulations to Clayton Harrison. And with that, I'm going to turn the program over to Coach Frado, who's our varsity girls soccer coach, and Miss Kristen Oberg, who assisted him as a volunteer this season. And take it away, coaches.
Thank you, Mr. Berardo. Good evening, everyone. Before I speak about the season and our players, I'd like to recognize Kristen Oberg, who was our assistant coach this year. Coach Oberg brought with her a wealth of knowledge of the game, and which was heavily impactful for our practices and scheduled matches this year. It's the way she made connections with our players, and her overall professionalism was just such an added value to our program. So I just wanted to say thank you once again, Coach O, for everything this season.
Thanks, Coach Frado.
Your work was not
I appreciate you too.
Thank you. Our 2020 season was not the ideal way that we would have played our games, our practices, or essentially just how the season would have ran. But we played and got better every day. Our players worked hard when times were tough, and they dug deep inside and kept playing their game. In those uncertain times, we adapted and adjusted to what this season brought us, and we persevered through. And that's all you can ask for. I'm very truly honored. I'm privileged to have coached this team this year, and these seniors are going to be deeply missed. So with that being said, I want to recognize our unique group of players, starting off with our 9th graders, Mia Crivelli, Addison Crowley, Jordan Niles, Shay Rookwood, Sienna Santiago, and Lauren Tremazzo. Our sophomore group, Margot Cunningham, Sabrina Bizio, Emma Bridges, Jancy Espinoza, and Giselle Luna. Our juniors, Rory Charbonneau, Jillian DeRose, and Gianna Joelli. And lastly, our seniors, who will be deeply missed: Sydney Burns, Captain Nicoletta Goldberg, Gabby Jacobson, Alex Maza, Angie Rappa, Captain Amanda Sherman, and Bree Saranuala. For our awards tonight, my MVP goes to Amanda Sherman, 2-time All-Section honorable mention, 4-year starter at the midfield. I've always coined her as being a cerebral player, very tactical, and someone who not only knows what to do with the ball, but knows where to be when she's off ball. My second award, which is the Coach's Award, this goes to Angie Rappa. And Angie was in a unique situation this year. She's a 4-year starter on our back line, and she played such an essential role in our defensive system. I couldn't be more proud of her for what she did and how she delegated that defensive line this year. Congratulations to you both. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Rado and Coach Oberg. Our next team to recognize and honor is girls tennis, and that's under the direction of Mr. Rob McCollum.
Hello, everyone. Let me begin by thanking the parents for dealing with all of the changes that came down the pipe this year, and also by thanking Mr. Berardo and Mrs. Piltman for really keeping our season alive as long as possible. Your efforts meant a great deal to the players, and they're much appreciated. Now let me introduce the team. So Linda Xiao, Alexandra Shajer, Isabella Paraga, Claire Renault, Victoria Hegenauer. Our 4th doubles team, Audrey Healy and Angelina Perez, who had a huge win for us against Lakeland, pulling out a team victory in an overtime in that match was really a sight to see. Our 3rd doubles team, Isabella DiDio and Isabella Rizzieri. Our 2nd doubles team, Brooke Ryan and Katie Tarantino. And Brooke and Isabella are seniors this year. And one of the really amazing things or I should say positive things that came from this, and there were some, was that we had an opportunity for some players who would not have had opportunities to play sports or play in a particular sport come out for different programs. And Bella and Brooke came out and were really positive influences on our team, and it was really a pleasure to work with them. And our first doubles team, our seniors, Monica Xiao and Rebecca Seaman, again, they'll be missed this year, or will be missed next year. And then our 3rd singles, Danielle Rosner, who was all league. And Danielle, this is her first year playing competitive tennis. and she ended up making all league, which is really an amazing feat. So congratulations to her. And our second singles, Samantha Ferrara. Samantha is a senior and a captain and all league player for us. She kind of battled some injuries this year, but has been an important part of this team for several years. And again, someone who's going to be missed. And our first singles was Anna Peterson, captain, all league player, and really one of the pillars of this team. Also been part of the program for several years now, and really a rock in our program. I'm so proud of this group of players. Faced with the adversity of COVID and the graduation of almost 3/4 of last year's team, these ladies met the challenge head on. The majority of our team were first-year players, but they worked hard and became more competitive as the year went on. In one of our last matches, we beat Lakeland at home. And, you would have thought we'd won a state championship. The girls ran out onto the court. They were cheering. They were so happy, celebrating with each other. It was really a sight to see. And, a couple of weeks later, a buddy of mine asked me, he coaches in another district, and he asked me, if it was worth it, playing just 5 or 6 matches. And I really thought about that moment, and said, absolutely. And the lessons that we learned this year about adversity, perseverance, helping each other through difficult times, are as powerful a lesson as anything we can learn on the court. Congrats, ladies, on a fine season, and a season well done. I have 2 awards to give out. I'm going to start with the most improved player this year, and there were several girls. Again, we had a lot of young girls. This could have gone to a lot of different people, but this young lady seemed to be on the court before I got there every day, hitting off the wall or dragging another player out to practice with her. And you could see her really improve as the year went on, and that's Isabella Rizzieri. So congratulations, Isabella. And my there you go. And my MVP this year has to go to our rock, our number 1 player. Being the number 1 on a tennis team means that hired guns always coming out match after match after you. You always have to be on the top of your game. And Anna Peterson was our rock this year. So congrats, Anna. And again, well deserved. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, Coach McCollum. Our next team to recognize is our junior varsity and varsity boys cross country teams, and those are under the direction of Mr. Joe Scalia and Mrs. Renee Acquisto. Take it away, coaches.
Thanks, Coach Berardo. I want to start by thanking all members of administration and Dean Berardo, especially for his leadership with the athletic programs this year, and his care package with all cleaning products. I think I still have some of them right next to my front door here. But Dean kept us in the loop the entire summer and throughout the early fall to, keep us in the loop as to, what were the updates, where are we going to be at this season? And I want to thank him for that. I want to thank Helen Piltman with her help with, setting up busing for us, which obviously was a challenge this year, and, confirming our home and away matches. Our team parents were great this year. I want to thank the team parents for allowing your children to compete this year. This was a very unique year, and I appreciate that. Also, I think we ran one of our home meets in probably the coldest day of the fall season, and we had parents showing up and asking me, how can I help? Course marshal, and just very welcoming, and I'm very proud and appreciative of the parents I have on my team. Also, I want to thank my assistant coach, Renee Acquisto, for all of her efforts this year as well with the team. She really led some good end of practice yoga stretching sessions that the kids were very appreciative of. So Renee, thank you for that. Knowing this, knowing with the pandemic that this season could be in jeopardy made it extremely difficult to properly plan, and meet with the athletes over the summer. However, since early July, the team, they did train over the summer. Again, sometimes it was by themselves. Sometimes it was in very small groups because we didn't know what to expect this season. But we were able to have a season, a very different season, and we're appreciative of that. And for the athletes, listen, you guys rolled with the punches in spring track. that didn't really happen, and you rolled with the punches again this season, and you did it with a smile, and we got through this together and had a good time. So I'm going to start to talk about the girls team. We had a total of 15 girls on our team this season. That includes JV and varsity. And for cross country, you run your top 7 in varsity. So Coach Acquisto will now announce the complete varsity and JV girls team.
Great, thank you, Joe. Senior Clarissa Cuomo, junior Fiona Dodd, freshman Kiara Golash, sophomore Michaela Goldberg, senior Alex Joga, senior Kennedy Lamoureux, senior Sarah Luby, senior Macy Marinich, freshman Lila Peterson, freshman Maggie Regano, junior Emily Rosinko, senior Gabrielle Santalis, freshman Ariana Torque, freshman Ryan Williams, and senior Emma Winkler.
Thanks, Coach Acquisto. So for anyone that knows anything about cross country, meets feature many teams and hundreds of runners racing each other at a time. This year, our league went to a schedule where each team would race another team in our league twice. And this was a huge change for us because this is not what we're used to. So we had to adjust to these new types of races. It was weird seeing, 14 runners in a race, 7 from Brewster and 7 from, one of the other teams in our league. But that's what we had to do this year. And initially I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to work. But, when I saw the kids out there and really seeing that their hard work paid off and the smile on their faces, it really did make it all worth it. So in these races, our girls did go undefeated and they were declared league champions, which was a real great thing for our girls. We had a really good 1-2 punch with freshman Maggie Regano and Sarah Luby. In our meets against Lakeland Panis, Maggie was the individual winner both times. Sarah was the individual winner both times in our races against Somers. And both Maggie and Sarah were huge reasons why the girls were league champions. We had solid racing from junior Michaela Goldberg, freshman Lila Peterson, and seniors Macy Marinich, Kennedy Lamoureux, Emma Winkler, and Clarissa Cuomo. Coach Berardo announced our all-league athletes before. And we also had 2 girls make the All-Northern County team, and those 2 were Maggie and Sarah. So unfortunately, when the district shut down all sports, we were right at the time where the invitationals and the sectional meets were about to take place. So unfortunately, we missed the last 2 important meets of the season. But we were able to, again, win a league championship, which was, a good thing in a very odd season, for sure. So, each year we usually have a dinner to, talk more about each athlete and give out some extra awards. And this year we have, hot off the presses, these are our senior gifts. What we do is we have Brewster Cross Country embroidered, and then we have each athlete's last name and winged foot underneath. And each year we've been doing this. I've been coaching 20 years, so we've been doing this every year. And, so seniors, if you're watching tonight, come to our office, whenever you're in the building to pick up your blankets. So we have 3 awards to give out tonight. The first one is a coach's award. Coach's award this year goes to a first-time runner as a senior. And we rarely have first-time runners as a senior. And the reason why she started this year is because volleyball got pushed back to the spring. She was a huge contributor to the team, and she was actually in our top 5 in several meets throughout the year and provided much needed depth on our girls team. She has a great attitude and excelled in her first season. So our coach's award goes to senior Macy Marinich. And we have 2 co-MVP awards today. The first award goes to a longtime veteran runner who ran very well all season. After our school shut down sports, there were a few unattached races, which means you run on your own and have no affiliation with this high school. You can't wear your Brewster jersey. So there were a few other opportunities for some of our more higher level runners. And she raced against high level competition there and did well. She won a couple individual races during the regular season, and she's one of the hardest working athletes I've ever had on the team. So our first MVP award goes to Sarah Luby. And our second award goes to a young standout runner who did very well throughout the season. She also won 2 individual races this year and placed runner-up twice more. She shows a true passion for distance running, and she's a pleasure to coach. Our second MVP award goes to freshman Maggie Regano. All right, so I'm going to head right over to the boys now. And Coach Acquisto, can you please announce our boy? Well, before we start, we had 21 boys on the roster, and that includes varsity and JV. So Coach Acquisto will announce those runners.
Thank you. Senior Anthony Ayala, freshman Charles Bloss, senior Henry Bloss, junior Michael Brill, senior Michael Cardona, senior Finton Cassidy, sophomore Roberto Cristostomo Suarez, sophomore Bryce DiCarlo, junior Dylan Dodona, freshman Mark Fedio, sophomore Patrick Ford, junior Jacob Gasparini, sophomore Tamoy Hazel, junior Owen Lennon, senior Francesco Miniello, senior Ryan Neubauer, sophomore Philip Otochik, senior Arlen Rama, freshman Michael Rosinko, senior Owen Cinta, junior Richard Tofty, and sophomore Marco Tyhansky.
Thanks, Coach Acquisto. So in our dual meets, our boys were undefeated against Lakeland Panis and Yorktown, but they did lose to Somers. Somers is one of the best teams in the section this year, so we ended up runner-up in the league. We did have some very, very good performances by some of our athletes. Sophomore Patrick Ford, he dominated all the league races he ran in this year. He beat everyone in our league by 20-plus seconds or more as he ended up undefeated in dual meet competition. You know, he ran a season best of 15 minutes and 31 seconds for 3 miles, which if you compute that, that's 5 minutes and 10 seconds per mile, which is over hills and trails. And he's only a sophomore, so, you know, clearly he's one of the best around. Senior Ryan Neubauer had a solid season as well. He did run 15:47 for 3 miles and many top 3 finishes. We had strong performances from Bryce DiCarlo, who ran really impressive against Lakeland in both races this year. Michael Cardona, who's a senior, really evolved this season, and he's one of our hardest working athletes that we have, and he was a big part of our success this year as well. We also had some strong contributions from athletes who improved a lot since last year and or earlier in this season. They were Mike Brill, Finton Cassidy, Anthony Ayala, and Richard Tofty. Also, Jacob Gasparini, a newcomer, showed a lot of promise as well in his races. Underclassmen Mark Fedio and Roberto Crisostomo are next up to make the jump to the Varsity 7 next year. So we have 3 awards to give out this year, 1 Coach's Award and 2 Co-MVP awards. The first Coach's Award goes to one of our up-and-coming JV runners. He improved every time he raced and stepped up the intensity of his efforts in practice day in and day out. I know he's going to be a big part of our varsity team next year. Our Coach's Award goes to freshman Mark Fedio. And our first MVP award goes to a veteran team leader, an awesome team captain. He's had a very good high school cross-country career. He was the team's #2 runner all year long and ran in a few of the unattached invitationals in late November. He's going to be missed next year because he's been a part of the program since 7th grade and has excelled from 7th grade up till senior year. And our first MVP award goes to senior Ryan Neubauer. And our second award goes to the team's top overall runner. As Coach Berardo was talking about 15 minutes ago, I got a text because tonight was the all-section meeting, and he made all-section. He was our top overall runner this year. He was a preseason Super 7 runner for LoHUD. And I said earlier, you know, he blew away the competition in dual meets. You know, and for him, it was sort of like, you know, did he really get a lot out of this season? But it wasn't until at the end of the season when he ran in the Northeast Regional last weekend. This race featured top runners from multiple Northeast states. And he beat state champions from other states on a tough 5K course to place 8th overall in the region. Region, when I say region, I mean East Coast region. He ran the overall fastest time in Section 1 at regionals, and he's only a sophomore. If we had a state championship meet this year, he would have been all state as well. So our second MVP award goes to sophomore Patrick Ford. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Coach Scalia and Coach Acquisto. Okay, now to round up our honoring of teams tonight, we have varsity field hockey with Coach Jennifer Hirschman, and we'd like to thank her longtime volunteer assistant, and it's Carly's mother, Cheryl Corbett. She's been around for a long time with us, and we really appreciate all of her efforts on a volunteer basis. So take it away, Coach Hirschman.
I would like to start by thanking Mr. Berardo, Helen, Brett, the grounds crew, and the Brewster administration for their extraordinary assistance during these unprecedented times. This season would not have been possible without the support from the Brewster Central School District. To my assistant, Coach Cheryl Corbett, your passion and talent is beneficial to us all. To our JV coach, Carly Corbett, the JV team had a spectacular season with you as their leader. Both the Corbetts bring such knowledge and skills that are an asset to our program. To the field hockey families, thank you for your assistance, trust, and adaptability. The dedication from the field hockey players, parents, and coaches led to a season filled with goals, wins, smiles, and teamwork. To our seniors, you are all superstars and you will be greatly missed next season. Let me introduce our varsity field hockey team. Seniors, Ashley Goodliff, Isabella Grana, Neve Mulcahy, Grace O'Gorman, Nora Tui, and Kate Vaughn. Juniors, Madison Clare, Eva Cousinel, Maddie Fitzpatrick, Sasha Kulo, Emily Monaco, and Angelica Tahinsky. Sophomores, Isabella Boissino, Morgan Brace, and Lindsay Schmidt. With limited time to prepare for games, these girls came ready to work hard to improve their skills and build a bond with their teammates. All of the field hockey players showed tremendous effort to play their best for themselves and their teammates. We had such an impressive season that there were articles written about our program and our players. Each and every practice, I made sure that every player had accomplished something that they were proud of. To be able to step on the field together, we were determined to ensure that each day we had a purpose. The varsity field hockey team had some remarkable wins that we are very proud of. We beat Walter Pennis twice. We beat Hendrick Hutchin 4-1. We tied Silmers. We beat Our Lady of Lourdes 9-1, and we beat Yorktown 3-0. The first award goes to a positive leader and an incredible goal-scoring senior. When she was a freshman, she was pulled up to varsity and scored her very first game. As a junior, she was voted captain, making her a second-year captain. This season, she had a total of 13 goals and 3 assists in just 8 games. She had 5 goals and 2 assists against Lourdes, 3 goals, all 3 goals against Yorktown, 3 goals and an assist against Hen Hud, and a goal in each of our Walter Pennis games. She can sweep, reverse chip, take corners, lift the ball, and she always finds the back of the net. Our most valuable player award goes to Ashley Goodliff. The second award goes to a player who prospered this season and had many shots on net. This senior has always had a smile on her face. Her cheerful attitude is infectious. She has many hidden talents, including the ability to balance a field hockey stick on her head. Her drives were hard and her stick skills enhanced greatly this season. Our most improved award this season goes to Neve Mulcahy. Thank you so very much, everyone that was part of our incredible season. And as always, go Bears.
Well, before we go, I'd like to thank everyone for their tremendous effort on getting the season accomplished, getting it off the ground, having our athletes participate. I think, you know, under some trying circumstances, we did an excellent job together. I'd like to also thank Mr. Jim Trelaw, Mr. John Castellano, Mr. Bob Valdez. The technology department here at Brewster is second to none. And, you know, give them a round of applause. I mean, Jim taught me off the ledge today. So did John, actually. So, and I usually go into the technology office and it's like a little whirlwind I create in there, but they really calmed me down today. So I appreciate all the efforts that they did making all of this happen, making us all look good like usual. And we're going to have some breakout rooms. Some teams are going to have some breakout rooms. Some teams are going to do some different things a little bit later on, socially distanced and appropriate, of course. So for the boys JV soccer, I'm going to open up the link for the Google Meet in a couple seconds. And the rest of you, thank you very much for everything. Congratulations, and be safe and well. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Great job, Dean.